Hey everyone, this is Alan over at Cobblers Plus. Today we're going to be working on a pair of these Carolina work boots, getting them resoled. You can see there that somebody has resoled them in the past using the Vibram 1276 Sierra sole on it. Usually these end up actually getting these Vibram 1440s on them because they tend to match the thickness and everything a little bit better. But this gentleman requested to get the 1276 Vibram put on, which is like that there. It's got a particular tread pattern that squeezes out a lot of mud and slush very well. It is a denser rubber, where this is actually what's called blown crepe rubber, so it's kind of inflated and has little air pockets in there. Makes it lighter weight definitely, but not quite as durable unfortunately as this, so you kind of go back and forth whether you want more durability or more lighter weight and comfortable. But we're using these guys, as you can tell. Of course, these are significantly thinner than what we would usually put on there. But the way that it's done is, as you can tell, someone else has already done this in the past. This gets ground down a little bit, and then the new sole gets adhered on to make sure to accommodate that proper angle and shape and everything, so nothing gets altered. You could go for a full sole as well that has a heel on it, which, there we go. Just to kind of give you an idea, kind of like one of these. That's always an option too. There's a lot of options you can do with these, luckily, but you're gonna have pluses and minuses always, depending on which direction you go with. Some gentlemen, if they have that sloped heel like that goes straight down at a 90-degree angle, they have a higher tendency of either it getting caught in something or potentially certain mud getting stuck too much. So anyways, I've already taken off the sole off of this one. As you can tell right there, it's got a lot of old grime and mud and everything under it, and glue. So we're gonna go ahead and get this other one off, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit. Alright, so we're back here now. I've got the other sole off there. You can see that it's all grimy and everything under there, so we're gonna make sure to sand everything out. And I did want to also show that you can tell that there's two different colors, of course. Now this sole actually originally supposed to only come in two options, of course, in black and then this Sahara color here. And one of our suppliers actually ended up mistakenly accidentally getting in a few additional colors, such as these two there. So kind of interesting. But from what I understand, this color has been discontinued, so they had just a few left. It's kind of like a more I guess you could say sage green, like almost like an olive green color, one of the older military colors actually. And this is kind of the replacement. And this was, from what I understand, they told me they got it by mistake. They weren't even supposed to receive these in, but they ended up getting so. And you can tell that whoever did the soles previously used that same color. Now, I can't remember the exact color names on these. Usually when I pick them up, I have to pick them up in person, because when I order them, I can't tell them which of the greens exactly it is, because they don't know the official color name on them either. But that was just kind of a quick side note. So this guy's done for, goes in the trash. The gentleman did request the Sahara color. It seems to have matched everything a little bit better, and that's what he preferred anyways. So if you want one of those green colors, by all means, just let us know you want that color. Usually we have like a little display area up front, and it just shows the different options and soles that you may have that you can use to put on, and would gladly walk you through it all. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and sand everything off. Now, I did want to also put as a side note, you can see right there, there's a little bit of a wedge buildup in there. Whoever did them before, they built it up. Not too bad, definitely, but we're gonna go ahead and take that out because it's a little bit of a softer crepe material, plus it's starting to degrade some. There's some cracking going on there, so I'm gonna sand that out at the same time as well, and it'll be at an angle, but I'm gonna put a new wedge in so that it is a little bit more durable that way too. And of course, rough out the bottom of these a little bit more. They come roughed up from the factory fairly well from Vibram, but sometimes there's a few spots that may be slightly missed, like you can see a little bit of a shimmer right where the logo of the Vibram was stamped. We'd like to make sure that everything's roughed up and the glue binds to it much better. Otherwise you get these little air pockets, and that's potential for either squeaking or it may potentially be where that air pocket may try to escape from the side somewhere and make that sole start to come undone after a little while. So we'll go ahead and get this over to the machines, and I'll meet you there in just a second. Alright, so we're back here again now. So we're just gonna go ahead and sand everything out and sand out that little buildup that was put in there, the wedge. You can see that difference in color tone a little bit. We'll try to match up the color as well as best as possible, but this here is a really soft crepe material that they put on. We're gonna try to put something on a little bit denser that will hold up better in the long run. So we'll go ahead and get started then. Alright, so we got everything sanded out, roughed up the soles there a little bit too, and I'm going to go ahead and put the build-up wedge here on that heel now, and we'll get going. So I'll see you back in just a little bit. So I thought this thing was recording, but it turns out it wasn't. I just sanded everything out on this build-up right there around the edges, you can see there, and made sure it was all flush and everything. Now at this point I'm basically done with the build-up aspect. You can still see that it's a little dirty and everything. That's because I tried not sanding it too close to that edge, because I don't want to sand out the original sole too much, as well as the welt where the stitching is. There was a few spots on the other boot that the previous cobbler did some work on. They got a little too close to the stitch, like right here, and we don't want to do that. So we have to be careful and cautious about it. But now I'll go ahead and just glue everything up. I'm not going to waste your time with that, and when it's time to stick the soles together, I'll see you guys then. Alright, so we'll see you in just a little bit. Alright, so we're back here again. I just pulled these soles out of the oven, so they're nice and toasty, and we're going to go ahead and get them glued up. Got something, of course, stuck to it just a little bit already, and we always try to center it. Almost got stuck there. Always try to center it as much as possible. Okay, got that. Give it a nice little tap. I always like to hammer out the center and make sure to get out as many air pockets as possible, and that is just the hammering side of things. Now I'm going to move over to our press, and I'll show you that in just a second, what we're going to be doing with that. So we'll see you there. Alright, so we're now here at our press, which allows us to use different last shapes. Like right now I'm putting it onto the heel piece and press it down. Now there's these soft foam pads, as you can see, they're fairly used and loved. I'm going to need to be changing these out here shortly, but this press is able to apply up to 800 pounds of pressure into these foam pads, and we do a section at a time. This allows the binding of the adhesives to work a little bit better, and also squeezes out any kind of air pockets that may be in there. And we only need a few seconds. So I take it off and I switch over. This is our foot last here. We have different shapes and sizes of these as well. And then I have these little wedges that I've made to make sure that I adjust it just right and get the pressure concentrate on the spots that I needed a little bit more. And we don't need much time. It's just a few seconds, at least with this particular adhesive. This is a rubber cement that's toluene based, so it binds very easily and quickly. The cure time for us to be able to work on it isn't long. It's about 20-25 minutes, technically less, but we like to give it about 20 to 25 minutes before we continue to work on it. The cure time, though, for it to be wearable, so you're able to wear it safely without anything coming apart, is 24 hours. After 24 hours, it's going to be at its strongest point when it's all cured and bound together. And one of the bigger benefits also with this kind of setup with a press, there are some that have what's called a full last, so it presses everything all at once. Now they don't actually press everything all at once, they just do a larger surface area at a time. With this particular setup, we do sometimes 3 to 4 sections at a time if it's a sole like this. We do the heel section, then we do from the heel to about the ball of the foot, sometimes a little bit before that, depending of course on the type of build of the sole or boot, and then from the ball of the foot, or you know, a little bit past the ball of the foot to the very toe separately, allowing us to be able to squeeze out any air pockets forward so that, you know, they're not trying to be forced out the edges. If the edge is already stuck together, they're going to pull up that glue. This allows all the pressure of the bubbles and everything, air pockets, to squeeze forward and applies more pressure on a more concentrated spot. But anyways, this one's done now at this point. We're going to move it on over to our 5-in-1. This allows us to press down the welt area a little more and then cut it. So we'll see you there in just a second. Alright, so we're here at what's called our 5-in-1. This is kind of a major multi-tool for a lot of cobblers to have. It's almost like a must-have. But we're going to start out with what's called our welt press right here. And it allows us to press down the very edge a little bit better, especially around the toe area there. I'm just kind of run it through. Oh, hang on, I'm going to have to get that. Sorry about that, I had to grab that phone, but anyways, that was a quick call anyways that I had to deal with. But I'm just gonna run through all around. Now, of course, we do have limitations as far as, you know, how far I can go, especially because this is more of a wedged heel. I didn't adjust the thickness of this sole here. I kept it the way that this gentleman had before from a previous cobbler. So the heel is definitely a bit thicker back here than we would usually have it at. But, you know, we left it the way he was comfortable and had it before, you know, done. So unless he specifies that he wants it done the way we usually do. You know, so I had mentioned it to him before, so we're doing it the way that he'd prefer anyways. But the heel section, it actually gets most amount of pressure and binds very well on the press, so we don't need to do that. It's mainly these sides here in the toe area that tend to have a problem with getting caught somewhere and then, you know, kind of potentially come unglued. So we just like to apply a little more pressure to it. Now this section on our 5-in-1 is our cutter, and it allows us to cut off at least majority of the excess before we take the next step of sanding everything more flush. I usually have my trash can right under here to catch everything, but I move it out of the way for recording. You guys don't want to be seeing all my trash, do you? But anyways, there we go. Got some excess cut off, so I'm not having to sit there and sand too much. It also isn't a good idea to sand constantly too much, just because heat does deactivate this rubber cement. It deactivates almost every rubber cement out there. We heat it up in our oven to activate the cement the first time. Once it's stuck together, it's going to have a bit more of a permanent type of bond to it. But of course, if you apply heat again to it once it's already bonded, then you have that potential of it possibly coming undone or even shrinking. Extreme heat can potentially shrink your soles. I've seen that happen plenty of times with certain types of materials, certain brands of shoes and boots as well. So don't leave your footwear in your car. I mean, doesn't matter if it's snowing outside. Here in Colorado, we could get a snowstorm. All of a sudden the sunlight comes out and it reflects off of that snow, and it could really heat up your car badly. Got cut out there, but anyways, it can really heat up the car, and your soles can come apart or even shrink, and not only your soles, but something else may go wrong. Anyways, that's done at this point. Now we're just going to allow it to cure for about 20-25 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes. I have a few other things I got to take care of as well, and then we'll get ready to start sanding it. So we'll see you back here in just a little bit. Alright, so we're back here again now. We've allowed these to cure for a little while. And now it's time to just sand it up on the rough sandpaper now. Afterwards, we'll move on to our 100 grit sandpaper, which is here next to me. But we'll go ahead and get started on this one and get most of this extra access off and move on. So let's get started. Alright, so we got that roughly sanded up now. So at this point we're just going to let it all cool off, because we have to let everything cool off in between sanding so that this sole doesn't get overheated and then potentially start coming up on one of the edges on us. Maybe some of you may have noticed, but you can see right there, there's some stitching right there that's a little messed up. Again, these were done previously by another shop and they did sand out, unfortunately, just a little bit too close there, and that's what I'm left with to work with. So in the meantime, I'm just going to secure this area a little bit more with some different adhesives, just in case so there's no issues going on here, and that gives it a little bit of time to also cure. So I'll see you back in a little bit when it's time to move on to the next sanding machine. Alright, so we're back here again now. I did have to leave these behind for just a little while to finish out a few other things, and today's the next day because of that. But anyways, we're just about almost done with it. We're now at our other machine that has a 100 grit sandpaper belt on it, which is a little bit smoother, I guess you can say. And then we also have this attachment here, what's called a numb keg. It just spins around and does a bit of a finishing touch up to finish off any edges or anything else that we may need to get into a little bit better than what the belt can possibly do. So we'll go ahead and get started then. Well, I thought everything was being recorded the rest of the way through, but I guess not. Anyways, I ended up finishing everything out here with the sanding, so it's nice and smooth. Did forget to mention that on this boot right there, as I mentioned in yesterday when I was still working on it, that whoever did these before, they did end up nicking that welt there quite a bit. Unfortunately, there's not much I could do at this point with it unless I, tear apart the entire boot and replace that welt and everything. It does get a little costly to do, so it wouldn't be quite worth it. But other than this section, the rest of the boot still has plenty of life in it, so we're not going to extend the life that much to it, but definitely have today significantly more without having to toss these boots quite yet. So at this point, we're basically done. We're just going to blow off all the dust in here and buff it up on one of our horsehair brush machines to get out any extra dust. At the same time, I'll put a light conditioner on the top, nothing too fancy, and we'll just wrap up the video. So we'll see you back in just a little bit. Alright, so we're done with this pair of boots now. These Carolinas, got them all fixed up. You can see a little bit of that wedge right in there possibly, if I angle it depending. And I've got the uppers kind of reconditioned. They'll lighten up here in just a little bit. The condition is still a little damp on there. Always condition your leather uppers. If you plan to hang on to your boots or shoes for many years, make sure you're conditioning them. For oiled leathers like this isn't a very finicky type of oil treated leather. Some forms of oiled leather you have to be a little more careful. You can't use anything that has any form of wax in it, just because it tends to set over top and then just crack. A lot of these work boots though, however, they have a different grade of oiled leather where it tends to absorb that wax very well. So you can use products such as Big 4. There's also Saphir oiled or greasy leather cream. Those two products don't have any form of waxes in there. I highly recommend those two as an option. And then if you want to add a little bit of wax that will help with waterproofing features to it. Saphir's Renovator Cream will probably be one of your better options. And then if you really want to waterproof them, of course, there's a lot of waterproofers out there that are silicone based. They're not the best for leather technically, because silicone, it kind of builds up and turns really grimy. So, that's just up to you on what you'd like to do. But anyways, we've got the Vibrams back on there, got a little new life and traction in them, and a little bit of color match as well. Of course, it's not at 100%, but it was better than that green one that was on there, and this gentleman seemed to have been excited and happy when I showed him that as a color, well, this one as a color option versus that green one. Anyways, again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and this kind of helps you appreciate and see the amount of work that goes into sometimes resoling certain things. It can take some time sometimes. Again, this was just like a top lift style where we just put over top of the existing sole. Other ways, we have to cut in here into the stitching, stitch on the midsole, then glue the new sole on. Sometimes it could take a bit more process and time. But there's a lot of options you can do, and that's why it's so hard for us to give you a price quote over the phone without seeing the boots, the condition of them, the type of build they are. Because even the Carolina boots, they don't have just one build style. They don't all use, Goodyear welt style where it's stitched and then the sole is glued on. Some Carolina boots, they're more Western style where the sole is stitched completely through around the edge here. And some of them are just molded, some are adhered. So we always have to kind of see it in person to let you know, ballpark estimate, what kind of options you may have, because some soles we can't put on certain types of boots or shoes just because of the type of build they were. But if you are local here in the Denver area, please stop on by. We'd be glad to help you out with whatever we can. You could always give us a call, send us a message. If you're not local here in the Denver area, if you're further away in a different part of Colorado, or you're out of state, you're not in Colorado at all, you're more than welcome to ship in your repairs to us. Any boots, shoes, belts, jackets, even chaps too, we do a lot of times. We do some saddle work as well. That's not as common and probably wouldn't be as cost efficient to ship, but we've had a few like that in the past. Just go to our website, CobblersPlusCO. Under the mail-in order section, just follow the instructions, fill out a form, the PDF file form, and place it in the box and ship it to us. As soon as we receive it, we'll call you within the next day or two and talk over with different price points and options that we may be able to do for you, and go from there. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit that notification button. I'm hoping to make a lot more videos as time goes by. I'm still fairly new to all this, that's why it's not professional. Again, I'm a cobbler by trade. I'm not a professional videographer or recorder or any of that kind of stuff, so I just kind of show you at least some of the raw footage, in other words. But I'll be letting out more videos on different types of boots and shoes that we resole, other repairs that we may do as well, and product testing, reviews, recommendations, side-by-side comparisons of different things. So, again, please subscribe, and we'll just see you next time.